Speaking Human.
Today on Speaking Human, we unwrap 6 classic holiday commercials and force them to face off in a showdown to see which ones yield more Yuletide power. Put on your protective Santa suit because this podcast has claws.
Speaking Human.
Welcome to Speaking Human, where we simplify the world of marketing for humans. I'm Shad Conley, and with me is my co-host, Patrick Jever. What's up, Patrick?
You know, we did just talk about not believing that it's December already.
It's true. We're getting ready to wrap up 2017 and knock it into the books.
It just feels like every year gets faster and faster. I don't know what's happening to the time.
It's what happens when you get old, like us geriatrics, as we mention on every show.
I feel like my world is spinning out of control.
Every year goes faster. And, young people are like, God, there's so much time. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
You know what else goes really fast, though? The holiday season. It comes in with Thanksgiving, and man, it just punches you in the face, and then it's out of here. Next thing you know, it's like, take the Christmas tree down. It's over.
It's how it works in our house.
Yep.
Put it up one day, and it's down the next.
So we're just at the start of peak Christmas fever right now, these first couple weeks, which I think, it's the best part. Once you get to the actual Christmas part, things just go too fast. It's hard to enjoy. But right now, soak in that Christmas music, those decorations, Christmas lists. It's so exciting.
Yeah, Christmas is like a wedding day. For a good deal of time before Christmas, you prepare really pretty much for just one day. And then that one day is gone in a flash, and you're like, where did it go? I don't even remember what happened. Just like a wedding day. Yeah,
it's a good analogy. It's all buildup. It's a lot of buildup. And then it happens, and, it's normally great, but then it's just here and it's gone. It fizzles away. But, that's the one thing. That's the way it's different than a wedding, I guess. Preparing for a wedding can be kind of terrible. I don't know if it's fun for everybody. Maybe it's fun for some people. Preparing for Christmas, I guess also not fun for everybody, but I enjoy it a little more, Christmas shows on TV, you get up the decorations, everybody's a little jollier.
I would say most people enjoy it. They don't enjoy all aspects. I think there's a lot of people that dread Christmas shopping for sure.
Yeah, the commercial side of things can get a little bit overblown, fighting people off in the stores to get the last one on the shelf, that kind of stuff. But it's all part of the fun.
Yeah.
So we got to prepare for the holidays here. We got a little holiday game to play. Are you ready for some game time?
I am ready for some game time. Let's do it. What's this game going to be?
You know exactly what this game's going to be, but I'll tell you anyway. For the sake of our listeners, I'll tell you. So what we did is we each picked out some classic holiday movie quotes, and we're going to read them off here and see if the other person can connect it to the right movie. Are you excited for this game, Patrick?
I am excited for this game. I think this is one of the better games we've played.
I don't know what that says about our other games, but it's a fun little holiday test of your classic holiday movie knowledge, maybe. I'm interested to see what you put together. All right, lay it on me, man. What's your first quote?
So my first one is, "You're my number one customer."
I believe that is from the movie Jingle All the Way.
It is from Jingle All the Way. That is Howard Langston, a.k.a. Arnold Schwarzenegger, from the movie Jingle All the Way. I knew you would know that one. That was an easy one. I battled on whether or not I would do the voices of the characters, because I think sometimes the voice gives it away immediately, right?
Yeah, I had the same debate with a couple of them, even how you say them, I guess.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Obviously, you were debating whether to do the Schwarzenegger voice. Let me say this about Jingle All the Way. Awful movie. It's kind of grown on me a little bit. Most people would say it doesn't belong with some other holiday Christmas classics, but it's kind of working its way up there for me. I think I started liking it on an ironic level, and now I kind of just enjoy it.
Yeah, well, and as you get older, there is sort of that level of hysteria as a parent, trying to find specific presents for your children. As you get older, you appreciate it a little bit more.
It's a bad movie, but it's got Arnold Schwarzenegger, too, so that's always worth something, especially when he's in quote-unquote comedy mode, so that's always fun. Plus, you can say things like, "Go see my movie Jingle All the Way!"
You haven't been practicing your Arnold, I could tell. I thought you were going to come with your A game today.
You act like it used to be better. Any excuse for a little Schwarzenegger. You know we got a good game when there's Schwarzenegger built into it. So let me throw my first one at you and see if you can get it.
Do it.
All right. Here's the classic holiday movie quote. This place reminds me of Santa's workshop, except it smells like mushrooms and everyone looks like they want to hurt me.
I want to say that's Elf.
That is Elf. Nicely done.
It's a good one. I like that. Elf has some great quotes.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them.
So my next one is very easy, Shad, and I know you're going to get this in a heartbeat. Most listeners will. If I woke up tomorrow with my head sewn to the carpet, I wouldn't be more surprised than I am right now. That
is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yes. Clark Griswold, a.k.a. Chevy Chase.
Talk about a movie with a lot of great quotable lines.
Oh, I love that movie. Yeah,
I think it's probably my favorite Christmas movie.
Yeah. This year we watched it. We always watch it on Thanksgiving. This year we were watching it, and my daughter actually said, can you believe this? She actually said, I'm going to go downstairs and watch something else because this movie is boring.
Oh.
Because she's seen it so many times now that she thinks it's boring. I said, I don't even know who you are anymore.
There's no surprises. I was going to ask you, do your kids enjoy that? Does that feel, because you're talking, that's a movie that's like 30 years old now.
I think they love it because it's tradition and they probably have heard us laughing so hard at it.
Yeah, it's just part of the holidays. So that's a good one. All right, here's my next one. Get ready. Next to me in the blackness lay my oiled blue steel beauty, the greatest Christmas gift I had ever received or would ever receive. Gradually, I drifted off to sleep, pranging ducks on the wing and getting off spectacular hip shots.
I know what that's from. That's from A Christmas Story.
Oh, you got it. Keeping us 100% on this.
They had a lot of great quotes in that movie, for sure.
Yeah, I'd agree. It's amazing. You know, I think back to childhood, and that and National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation became instant holiday classic movies.
Yeah. It's inevitably going to be played on some channel somewhere for the rest of the history of the human race. My last one, now it was serious. A double dog dare? What else was there but a triple dare you? And then the coup de grace of all dares, the sinister triple dog dare.
I'm going to guess, is that A Christmas Story as well?
Yes! I was hoping to throw you off, but you got it anyway. That's the scene where...
Puts the tongue on the pole?
Yes, yeah.
That's a good one and a great scene. That's the scene of the movie, I think. Shows you just how many quotable parts there are to A Christmas Story. Just a really well-written and a lot of great details in that movie. How about if I give you my third one? And this one's going to be a little harder. This is going to be like a level up of difficulty. Let's see if you can do it.
I'm up for the challenge.
All right, here we go. There's children throwing snowballs instead of throwing heads. They're busy building toys, and absolutely no one's dead. I could also sing that for you if you wanted me to.
Is that A Nightmare Before Christmas?
That is The Nightmare Before Christmas. Wow. Nicely done.
I'm great at these games. I just want you to know that.
It's fun to do. I didn't see any of yours actually when I was looking stuff up, but I was like, there's a good chance I'll be looking stuff up and see one of the ones like you use. I did have a couple of Jingle All the Ways that I was going to use. I was like, well, see if Patrick pulls one out. And I had, put that cookie down now. And then I also had, I'm not a pervert. I was just looking for a Turbo Man doll. My Arnold is just off today. I don't even know what's happening in my throat.
I will say this. Those second two were much better than the first one you did earlier. It's like you got better.
It didn't feel better. It felt worse. I keep working on it. I think it's getting worse. I think it's getting a lot worse.
I don't know. I thought they were getting better. But maybe I'm just getting used to the badness. I don't know.
Yeah. You're adjusting how you think Arnold talks to how I'm actually talking.
Yeah, when I go back to watch that movie, I'm going to be like, that's not how Arnold talks. Yeah, I thought about using one from It's a Wonderful Life where he's like, Mary.
Is your Jimmy Stewart the same as your Christopher Walken?
It's Jimmy Travolta. Jimmy Stewart, Christopher Walken, and John Travolta. Sandy. Mary.
Well, I don't know how we're going to follow that, but we're going to have to try. In a minute, we're going to make 6 classic holiday commercials fight to the death. But first, let's get a quick word from our sponsor.
Today's sponsor is Farmers Insurance. Insurance can be confusing, overwhelming, and time-consuming. At Hire Insurance Agency, we remove the guesswork and hassle, helping you protect what matters most. We offer a wide range of auto, home, business, and life insurance policies to help you meet your specific needs. Call 844-543-3463 or visit hireinsurance.com. That's HYRE insurance.com for more information.
Yummy fruity pebbles in our bowls. Oh, here comes you-know-who. Yabba dabba fruit, delicious do. Ho, 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 I'm hungry. Santa, my pebbles. Your pebbles? 'Tis the season to be sharing, Fred. Happy holidays, pal. Oh, Fred. Fruity and Cocoa Pebbles cereals, part of this nutritious breakfast. Ho, 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 ho.
That was an audio clip from a 1990 Christmas commercial for Fruity Pebbles featuring Santa Claus and the Flintstones. For those of you listeners who grew up in the 80s and 90s, that ad may stir up a spoonful of seasonal nostalgia. You're about to get a little more of that as we dive into our classic holiday commercial showdowns.
All right, so what we're doing now, kind of another game. I'd call it a game, more or less. So it's a gamey episode here we got on Speaking Human. But here's what we're going to do. So we have 6 different classic holiday commercials. And we pitted them, in these matchups, these showdowns, one against the other. And we're going to each pick who our winner will be of the battle. And, maybe get into some knockdown, drag-out arguments in the process. So let's do it, Patrick. Let's get into our showdown number 1, the clash of the chocolate candies. You want to tell us who's in this showdown?
Yeah, so the two in this showdown are M&M's from 1996, titled Faint, versus Hershey Kisses 1989, Bells.
Both prominent chocolate candies that people love at Christmas time?
Yes. So the Faint commercial is where the M&M characters, the animated characters, walk in Christmas Eve on Santa, and when they see each other, the M&Ms say, "He's real." And Santa goes, "They're real!" And they both faint. And 1989 Bells, that is just a very simple commercial where you see a bunch of Hershey Kisses laid out, and they're basically playing a Christmas song and jingling like they're bells, because Hershey Kisses are kind of in the shape of a bell, right?
Bell-like.
So those are the two pitted against each other.
Those are the two competitors, the two gladiators.
I love how deadly you've made the Christmas showdown.
Yeah, I like to take it to a dark place. So those are the ones we have against each other. Like I said, the clash of the chocolate candies. 2 pretty well-known commercials within, 7 years of each other that feature these holiday candies that somehow just change their colors at the holidays and become Christmas items, and sales go through the roof. So, Patrick, who you taking?
The Bells win this for me. And here's why. That was some seriously animated magic back then. 1989, watching these bells animate. The Hershey Kisses, it was a simple commercial. It showcased the product, had a catchy little holiday tune, and then made people crave those chocolatey kisses, The animation for the M&M's characters, is good. There's nothing more unappetizing than watching a candy walk in and talk to you.
It is a bit of a problem, huh? So my take on it is pretty similar, and you kind of hit on a piece of it. Real quick, I'll go into my criteria I made up for judging these. 3 things, basically timelessness, like how well does it hold up or will it hold up in the future? It's Christmassy or winteriness, how much does it echo the season? And the warmth, how well does it stir the seasonal emotions, family, home, nostalgia, etc. And I also went with Bells, Hershey Kisses Bells, mostly because of the timelessness, which you kind of mentioned. I mean, 89 and it holds up perfectly well. And because it doesn't have, there's no words. It's just a Christmas song, which is already something timeless. And these Hershey Kisses playing like bells, it can work forever. You could use this commercial for the next 100 years and it won't matter. It won't look dated because it's so simple in its execution. Makes you think of Christmas. Wouldn't work any other time of year, but it works perfectly at Christmas time, and it can go on for centuries, live on far after us.
I was going to say the key to that is they're going to have to reshoot that in 1000K in 100 years. The resolution on the original won't hold up.
That's a good point. Where people will be like, 1000K, I can barely make it out.
What are those things jingling around there?
And the other component on this, you kind of hit on the whole thing with the M&Ms. I know it's a popular marketing campaign that they've done for decades, but man, that has never really worked for me. I don't know what the draw is there with the walking, talking M&Ms, but not a huge fan.
When I was reading up about the M&Ms, they talked a little bit about that whole marketing campaign revitalized M&Ms in the 90s. And like that commercial is not a bad commercial. I kind of like the humor in it. It wasn't bad. It was just, I never really got it. You know what I mean? It's almost like the California raisins.
Yeah.
Those things were so unappetizing. When you look at the California raisins, I actually think back and how horrified I was. I liked raisins up until that point. So they're not quite that bad, obviously. They're much cuter and less disgusting looking, but it's similar to that,
Yeah, definitely. Though I'd say, raisins aren't super appetizing looking either. So it was real.
No.
It's true to life.
Yeah, they should have made them less realistic is the problem.
They were wildly popular. Everybody loves the California raisins.
So what's in it for our showdown number 2, Shad?
Showdown number 2 is the War of the Warm Liquids. Great title. And this one is Folgers' 1986 commercial Peter Comes Home versus Campbell's Soup 1998 commercial Snowman. To give you a little recap, describe them for you in your ears right now. Folgers' Peter Comes Home. Peter is a college kid. He gets dropped off in front of his wintry home, walks inside, turns on the light of the Christmas tree. His little sister runs down and she's like, Peter, everybody's still sleeping. And Peter's like, shh, let's go make some coffee. And then, as often happens in Folgers commercials from that time period, puts on the coffee. Everybody wakes up to this aroma and they're so happy. And they pop up and they're like, Peter, you're home. And it's this, amazing Christmas reunion. Classic commercial. Good retelling by me. The Campbell's Soup Snowman commercial is a little bit simpler. This one is, you see a snowman out front of a house. All of a sudden that snowman starts moving, walks inside, opens the door, takes off his scarf, goes and sits down at the kitchen table, starts eating some Campbell's soup. Gradually the snow all melts away, and it's a little kid eating some Campbell's soup, warming up in his home. So those are our 2 contestants to the death right now.
It's like Spartacus up in here.
But bloodier.
Much bloodier. I'll tell you right now, while Peter Comes Home is strangely heartwarming, I have to give this to Campbell's Soup. And that's because it has a twist that no one sees coming. The snowman is actually a human kid. What?
Spoiler alert for a, 20-year-old commercial.
It had a nice little twist that, was not like shocking to the point where your jaw drops to the floor and you go, what just happened? Although I did feel that way. So Campbell's Soup wins it.
The Campbell spot wins for timelessness. Because using my criteria, I would call it perfectly simple. What happens is so much easier to describe. The snowman walks in, the snowman melts, the snowman's a kid. That's the way it goes. And by the way, snowman effects, still not bad, right? Snowman walking around, looks pretty good. So in that terms, the Campbell's wins. Then I look at Folgers. Folgers is definitely more Christmassy. They play up that Christmas imagery, and the winter imagery is in there with Campbell's, but not necessarily Christmas or holiday. And then they both kind of have this warmth, this kind of swelling of emotion. I'm really torn on this one. It was a struggle, but I think I'm going to give it to Folgers for 2 reasons. One, well, listen, I got 2 reasons. First one, because I knew you would pick Campbell's. And so it's something different. And two, I feel like Folgers marketing from the 80s and 90s is woefully underrated. The whole, best part of waking up campaign and all that imagery of the coffee brewing and then the people smell it and smile in their sleep and wake up. It's so good.
The fact that you actually have 2 reasons to pick that.
I don't know that it's the right choice. This one was such a draw for me. I see the datedness of Peter Comes Home, but even the concept itself, which Folgers has used again kind of multiple times, there's actually a kind of very awkward version of this where in this one, there's like a college kid and then the younger sister's like 7 years old. There's another version where they're much closer in age and the sister's older. You have to look it up online. It's very awkward because it seems more like a dating relationship than a sibling relationship, the way they're interacting with each other. So it gets pretty weird.
That would be weird. I just wish they wouldn't have titled it Peter Comes Home.
That's actually the third reason I picked it.
I mean, the Folgers one works today.
The Folgers one is dated by execution. The Campbell's one, you could probably still air the same one today, but you could still use that Folgers concept.
Yeah. Somebody comes home. You don't know why.
It's a surprise.
You don't know where they've been.
Coffee makes you happy while you're sleeping.
Little kids.
Christmas trees. Joy.
Exactly. To the world. So, well, I guess we'll have to agree to disagree on that one.
A little bit of a draw there in that bloody battle.
Yeah. It's Showdown number 3. Why don't you tell us about the Battle of the Arctic Beast, Shad?
Well, the Battle of the Arctic Beast features our one semi-contemporary ad, which is John Lewis's 2014 Monty the Penguin, about a boy who befriends a lovable penguin throughout wintertime / Christmas time. They become buddies. I don't know how else to describe that beyond saying that, because it's like a 4-minute ad of this kid buddying around with the penguin. Very cute, very cute. And that's going against Coca-Cola's 1993 Northern Lights, which is the first ad featuring the iconic Coca-Cola polar bears, where they're watching the Northern Lights, like sitting there as a group of them, and they all crack open Cokes, and they're watching that somewhere in the Arctic.
That could be Ohio.
It could be anywhere, really, right? So those are the 2 very well-known and beloved ads.
So which one's your pick on this one? Hit me with it.
All right. I'll hit you with my best shot. My pick on this, I'm going old school. I'm going Coca-Cola. Coke ad's one of the ads I strangely remember the most. It's so simple. None of it really makes sense. Why are polar bears drinking Coke? I don't know. But it just creates that holiday / Christmas feeling. It's more worried about like creating this ambiance and this vibe, which it does really well. It kind of just nails the joy and magic of the holiday season, captures that in kind of a unique way that I think it's tough to pull off. They do it so well, and I'm not sure how. Monty the Penguin is great and touching, but I'm not sure it has that level of timelessness. I'm not sure in 20 years anybody will even remember it, because that's the thing about today's ads. They're, higher quality all around, from concept to writing to production values, but they're just a little less memorable because they're giving us more, and because there's more of them, they all kind of blend together more than something like the Northern Lights ad, which sticks out to me now.
I'll agree with you. This one was much more difficult because there's a clear winner in my mind of the concept and execution. But here's why it's harder for me to choose Monty in this one, and that's because it primarily had more international success than U.S. success. Mm-hmm. The Coca-Cola polar bears were so big, and people adored those beasts for a good part of the 80s and 90s, and the brand really capitalized on their success. And really, like you said, it embodied the holidays. For some odd reason, those polar bears and the Coca-Cola bottles and them being whatever they were doing, there was even that one version with the like little cub bear and the mama bear with the Coca-Cola. And those were such sweet, endearing commercials. They were simple, right? There wasn't a lot of story to it. And the Monty one did have a lot more story to it. But I would disagree that I think it is timeless in that story holds up and it does tug on your heartstrings, which is why I can't turn my back on those penguins. The polar bears might have been cute, but those adorable little penguins just want to be loved. So I'm going to pick Monty.
Oh, so another split.
Split down the middle.
It's reasonable. And, looking at it, you look at through the lens of today and the, quality of it and just what's happening there. I think that would be an easy pick for a lot of people. Like I said, there's just something, even looking back on that Coca-Cola ad, or a lot of ads from this time period, I wonder what the pitch was, or like how they even came up with this so random that it actually caught on, or maybe they were thinking on some level that I can't even comprehend. You know, polar bears drinking Coke. Like, people love it. I would be like, you're crazy.
Yeah, and back then, for whatever reason, those types of commercials worked. They were simpler back then, and they didn't always have to make sense, but you look at them and they were very well received at that time, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's like Point Break. Yeah, I think I've told you this before. 99 times out of 100, that movie doesn't work, but somehow this combination of things, they just kind of lucked into perfection.
Oh, yeah.
This is kind of another one of those scenarios. It's just something so unique that it's almost unexplainable the way it just captured something.
So I think I know the answer to this. The final question for today is, which of the Showdown winners do you think is the best commercial and why?
You think you know the answer to it, but you don't.
I'm pretty sure, but go ahead. You go ahead and you pitch that to me.
You probably think I'm going to pick the Coca-Cola polar bears, right?
No.
Oh, you don't?
I didn't think that at all.
Do you think I was going to pick Peter Comes Home?
I hope you don't. But if you did, I would understand.
You would?
I hope it's not Peter Comes Home. I'll tell you that much.
Just you hoping that makes me want to pick that?
I know, it's very tempting.
No, I went with Bells. Hershey Kisses Bells. Simple, super Christmassy, effectively remind you of the product. Talk about a commercial where the product is just, I mean, it's all product, and it can go on until the end of time, or at least the end of Christmas as we know it. So, yeah, that's definitely my pick, with the Coca-Cola Polar Bears being a close second.
I can't argue with that. I think the Bells is very good. And I hate to be predictable, but Monty the Penguin is my favorite. I just really liked the story in this one. And, you know, here's where it diverges from your pick, and why I like the Bells is that the product is front and center. It reminds you, it's very simple, it's very straightforward, and it's timeless. Monty the Penguin, it's a longer commercial. It has more story. It is a very pure, heartfelt story that I think, like I said earlier, tugs on the heartstrings. Really, it's told from the viewpoint of the child. It's showcasing a child's imagination. And nothing says the holidays and nothing says Christmas and the magic of Christmas more than a child's imagination. So to me, that was the clear winner. The brand spotlight at the end is just sort of bonus for them. You know, they told a great story, and in that story, they followed up with, yeah, obviously you can buy this product and other products like it. So
you make a good case. I agree. The John Lewis is a 5-star commercial. I don't want to undersell that. And the whole imagination part of it and the way it is told from that child's perspective. Because the whole idea is the penguin's not real. It's all within the, you know, this friendship, this meaningful relationship is within the child's mind. But I just think in 10 years, you will have a faint memory, if any memory, of that commercial. And I think if you really wanted to be unpredictable, you would have picked Peter Comes Home, even though you didn't pick it to win the matchup, the showdown.
I can't always be predictable, Shad, but when I am predictable, I like to choose Monty the Penguin.
Well, it's interesting, as you know, that was the one time period outlier. Not a bad pick, I'll give you it. It's a great commercial.
And those are some great showdowns. I mean, in the end, you could really pit any two commercials against each other and come up with reasons why each one is good and bad.
A lot of hotly contested battles. It was a good time. A lot of good games on this show. And on that note, let's get our final nugget of human wisdom. Human wisdom.
Since we talked about a bunch of products in this episode, I thought it would be a great way to play a clip from one of the greatest product placement movie franchises ever made. Filled with brands like Pepsi, Nike, Mattel, Toyota, Pizza Hut, Tab, 7-Eleven, Tabasco sauce, Black & Decker, The Weather Channel, AT&T, Calvin Klein, Western Union. The list literally goes on and on. Back to the Future was a brand goldmine. So here's a short clip and a character testimonial from Back to the Future 2, Marty McFly, who just wants a Pepsi, no matter what year he's in.
Welcome to the Cafe 80s, where it's always morning in America, even in the afternoon to noon. All I want is a Pepsi.
That is a good clip because, man, ton of products, ton of like big brand names in there. They must have got some sweet sponsorship money in that movie for all the brands that are just piled in there. And from a brand perspective, who wouldn't want to be in something where they're like, you will be around in 20 years or 30 years?
If they could afford it, obviously.
I will say on a side note, Back to the Future, one of my favorite movies. Back to the Future 2? Meh. The clip we played, I like that part. The rest of the movie, it kind of starts repeating the other movie.
Yeah, that's the part that I actually really like, which is what that movie was supposed to be about, which is the future. The future is the past now. So,
whoa.
And none of that stuff came into being. Not one of them, I don't think.
The hoverboard kind of happened.
Well, you know, kind of. Kind of is not really happening, though, right?
No. I thought your human wisdom was going to be this clip. Put that cookie down now!
If you'd have mentioned the brand of cookie, that would have definitely made it into my nugget of human wisdom. Chips Ahoy cookies.
EL Fudge. Maybe in Jingle All the Way, too.
I think they actually had a Jingle All the Way, too.
Without Arnold. Nah, what are you doing?
Don't they know that never works?
Never.
They just never.
Put down that cookie!
So that's it for today's episode, everyone. You could find current and past episodes of the podcast on speakinghuman.com. You can also find and listen to the podcast on Podbean or anywhere awesome podcasts are broadcast.
Tweet us your favorite holiday commercial of all time using the hashtag #BestHolidayCommercial at speaking_human on Twitter. That's at speaking_human on Twitter. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another episode of Speaking Human. Catch you then, humans.
Speaking human.
These guys are looking for a Turbo Man?
A gentleman dog, yes. Where's your Christmas spirit? That's better. Now, there must be a Turbo Man around here somewhere.
Oh, these cookies! I gotta get the recipe from Les.
Put that cookie down! Now! And no extra charge. Well, what do you expect? You're my #1 customer. But don't you forget, you're my #1 customer. You're my #1 customer. Put that cookie down! Now!